Hi YouTube, this is Red State No 08 with the Tennessee Outdoor Forum coming to you tonight. I'm going to make a little impromptu video. I was sitting here in my kitchen and I've done quite a bit of thinking in the last week or so about the things we do and what we teach about when we teach on bushcraft and survival skills and the different items and areas. And I had somebody pose to me a really interesting question at work the other day. They said, we're seeing so much about this now. And they asked me, what is the difference between a prepper, a survivalist, and any other area of a realm that coincides with that? And I thought a lot about that when they asked me the question. I felt like this is something that I wanted to try to address in the form of a video and explain the differences and maybe insert a little bit of how I feel about the subjects of the above. I feel like that you can break up survival elements into three basic groups of people. You have, number one, the preppers. Number two, you have the survivalists or the bushcrafters. And then number three, you have the sheepdogs. And I feel like all three of the areas and all three of the groups have very close intertwining relations with the other. But they are each different enough to where they could be called their own field or their own view or their own philosophy or standpoint within that. And that's what I wanted to address today, is what some of the similarities and some of the differences were between the three types. We'll start off with the prepper. A lot of guys have looked and have seen the show, The Doomsday Preppers, comes on Nat Geo. Great show, and it shows a lot of things. I mean, with any type of television show that they put out there, even the survival shows and even the ones that are a little bit more realistic, like Survivor Man and things like that, the problem with that is that any time that you have something that's put on network television, there's a certain element of the show that is scripted and that is added for the purpose of entertainment. It can't be 100% what it is every time. It's just simply not. In the way that they make those. I don't care how much they tell you that it is. I don't care how real that they tell you, what steps they've gone through to ensure that it was dead on accurate, that it was 100% real. It's just simply not that. It's not that way. For instance, in the prepper realm, I have a neighbor that's a very close by neighbor. Great guy, great family. His dad is a super nice guy. Talked to him a couple of weeks ago on the phone for probably over an hour and a half. Just a very knowledgeable, very intelligent, helpful, friendly gentleman that I've just grown to think a lot of. And I'm not saying this to down him. I'm saying this to anything. It's to praise him and for being what he is. Luke Cameron, also known as the Seven Trumpets Prepper. I highly recommend his channel. Recommend you take a look at it on YouTube. Seven Trumpets of the Revelation, or Seven Trumpets Prepper. Go and take a look at his channel. Take a look at the preps and the stuff that he's got on there. Excellent YouTuber, excellent channel, and just all-around great folks. Luke, I'm thinking about somebody else. Luke, in his channel, will tell, and I've heard him say more than one time, is that he does not have all the answers. And most preppers go out with the premise that, hey, we're going to try to survive, and they even state in the beginning of the show, you know, we're preparing for blah, 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 whatever it is that they're preparing for. Well, his particular prep is preparing for the Seven Trumpets of the Revelation. And guys, I'm telling you, and this is just a little bit just personal in my part, and I'm just sharing this with you. I do believe in the end of days, and I do believe that it's coming. I believe in a biblical end of days that is coming. I do believe that tribulation is coming. I do believe in that the government is going to do what they can to strip us of our rights as citizens and to impose upon us the wills that they would have us to live by, to take away our freedoms, our civil liberties, everything that we have, everything we hold dear. And for that purpose, a lot of times I'll sport, you guys can see the Chris Kyle monogram on the t-shirt today. And we do have the Milan Lade t-shirt on. We're sporting on the back. I don't know if you can see it or not. American Infidel. It's not a sign of being, whether or not that we are per se an enemy to America, and I think some people sometimes interpret it that way, and that's not it. The world and the terrorists that we face every day, and I'm going to call them what it is. I mean, I'm not politically correct. This is not a politically correct channel. If you've tuned in for that, you're in the wrong place. The Islamic terrorists that we face as a country, as a nation, that's the way they see us. They see us as the infidel. And if that's what they're going to see me as, yeah, I'm an American infidel. The very key part to that is that first, I'm American. I'm prepared to face whatever it may be. And I know that a lot of people go into prepping and they go into preparedness in a mindset of preparing for what if. What if the economy collapses? What if the infrastructure falls? What if the banks collapse? What if the power grid gets shut off? What if? I'm not preparing for what if, I'm preparing for whatever. And that's just the bottom line. That's as plain as I can say it. If you're going to be a prepper, you can prep all day, but you can't prep for what if. You have to prep for whatever in order to be successful. We don't know how it's going to come. We don't know. Even in the Bible, we read that it says that no man knoweth the day or the hour when the Son of Man cometh. We know some of the things that we'll have to face. We know some of the things we'll have to go through because the Bible said, and we believe the Bible, but we don't know the means that it'll come through to deliver those states to us. That's why I'm saying that we have to prepare for whatever. Now, back off of that and on the prepper is going to be found to gather food. He's going to mass weapons. He's going to mass ammunition. He's going to come up with ways to supplement the food, whether it be gardening, heirloom seeds, however he can find ways to be able to grow and store additional food. You're also going to find that these are the guys who have the set planned, fortified bug-out locations, fortified bug-out vehicles. These, to me, seem like the big money. These are the high rollers that go in, spend the money, do whatever it takes to set up these elaborate preps to prepare for this end and these end of days as it comes. They spend a fortune, but the flaw in this is that most of them prepare for one or two different scenarios. And even though that some of the preps would bleed over to prepare for other scenarios, they're not preparing holistically in that they're preparing for these one or two scenarios and they're leaving out the 10,000 other scenarios that they could face. And there's key critical elements in that they end up missing. And that's where a lot of guys miss the boat when it comes to prepping. The second group that I wanted to talk to and talk about and address, and I'm going to have to split this into two videos, guys, but the second group that we wanted to talk about, speak on a little bit, are the bushcrafters. These are the guys that are able to go out in the woods with nothing but a knife and go out and start fire by friction and catch their own food and build traps and set up camp and build shelters, and they do all these elaborate lashings and set up. And to me, some of the skills that are taught in bushcrafting are the most basic elemental skills that any bushcrafter, prepper, sheepdog, pre-military, even camper, the skills that are carried by these bushcrafters are the fundamental skills that anybody that's going to spend any amount of time in the outdoors should do everything they can to learn and to hone at least a basic sense of skill sets in these areas. For one reason, one guy that I've really liked, and I know he's caught a lot of heat in the last little bit, and it has more to do with the show, more to do outside of the show that he was in for there a while, the Dual Survival, but the guy that I look to a lot in this is Dave Canterbury. Dave Canterbury teaches a system that's called the Pathfinder system. And I know that a lot of times you can't necessarily go with catchy logos and jargon. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm coming up on the end of this one. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to pick you up in round 2.